Welcome to another episode of Capital Kitchen. Today we're making this one-pot skillet with capital garlic sausage, roasted potatoes, bell pepper, onions, seasoning. It's amazing. And I'm gonna show you how to make this step by step right now on Capital Kitchen. So here's some of the ingredients you're gonna wanna be using for this recipe today. Now the first thing we wanna do is we wanna get our pan over the stove on medium-high heat. We're gonna go in with about a tablespoon of butter. Now, butter burns kind of easily, so we're gonna be mixing this with olive oil. The reason we do that is because it changes the smoke point and also the burning point, if you wanna think of it that way, of the butter. So if we add some olive oil to it, we're not gonna burn it. Today, what we're gonna be using is they're called ruby red potatoes. They're those little waxy red potatoes you can get oftentimes in a bag, already washed, super simple, easy to use, okay? And what I did was I chopped them up into cubes. I set those in a pot of cold water and brought it up to a boil. So they're parboiled just for about 4 or 5 minutes, so they're fork tender, and that's gonna give us that fluffy texture on the inside of our potatoes. So now that we got all the potatoes in with our olive oil and our butter, we're just gonna wanna leave those to sit flat on one side for a good 3 or 4 minutes before we turn them. That's gonna give us a good sear and a nice crispy outside. Now that these have been cooking for about 8 or 9 minutes or so, and we got some really good color on the outside of the potato, I'm gonna go ahead and add in our seasoning. Now the seasoning that we have here is just some garlic powder, paprika, a little bit of salt, optionally a little bit of chili flakes, and some parsley flakes. And if there's anything else I forgot to mention, I'll put it in the description of the video, or better yet, you can find the exact details on our website at capitalfinemeats.ca/recipe. What this is gonna do is give an amazing scent, flavor, but most importantly, color, because we eat with our eyes too. I'm gonna set these aside for right now. For some of you, this is gonna break the one pot dinner rule, but you know, we're gonna set some of these aside. Don't get rid of all those juices in the bottom. That olive oil and butter, whatever we can keep in the pan is ideal, all right? We wanna use that for the rest of our cooking here. So I'm turning the heat down just a little bit to make sure nothing burns, and we're gonna go ahead and add in our capital garlic sausage. Now this is just sliced up into these sort of half moon shapes. I took the sausage out of the package, peeled the casing off. You just wanna score it with the knife, it comes right off. I cut the length of the sausage in half and then sliced it into these half moon shapes, okay? That's the sound you like to hear. All that seasoning, all that flavor, none of it's gonna be lost, okay? We're also gonna throw in some bell pepper, okay? I'm throwing these in before our onions because they take a little bit longer to cook. They're pretty firm. We don't want these to be fully sauteed. We don't want them to be soft. We still want them to have a good bite. We're just giving them a little head start before our onions. Some beautiful color here on our peppers and our capital garlic sausage. I'm gonna go ahead and just push everything over to one side, and then I'm gonna add in some onions. And this is pretty much it. Once the onions are softened and they're really starting to smell good, they're even getting a little bit translucent, we're gonna go ahead and add our potatoes back in. And that's it, that's the whole dish. If you want to make this like a breakfast dish or something like that, you can go ahead and add some eggs in. You could fry an egg, poach an egg, whatever. And I don't mean to imply, by the way, that eggs are for breakfast only. I love eggs, and I think it's kind of a crime that most of us only eat them in the morning. But that's a conversation for another day. We're gonna add some fresh chopped parsley. Oh, I love the smell. I love the color. So good. It's like rustic. And I mean, look at that. This took us how long? I mean, we've been cooking this for 15 minutes. You got your protein, you got your vegetables, you got your carbs, you got everything in here. It's delicious. This is, I think, pretty balanced. There's a lot of butter, but who doesn't like a lot of butter? I could eat this every day. You could put that out as a side, as a main, whatever you want. I love that. Look how easy it is to grab everything with a fork. You see that steam coming off that? You know what happens next. I always burn my mouth. I think 9 episodes out of 10 that we do here, I burn my mouth when I go to taste the food, but for the sake of the pacing of the video, here we go. There's almost no ingredients in this, right? I know this, you know this, but until you taste it all together, you have no idea how good this is. You have to make this, you have to taste this. It's spicy, it's smoky, it's salty, But most importantly, the texture is perfect on everything. We got fluffy potatoes with a crispy outside. The sausage is seared. This is just, it's stellar. It's so good. Stellar. There's a word that I don't say too often. There's not too much really to say about it other than, you know, oh, you did such a good job, Alexander. It's delicious. People are gonna love this video, Alexander. Can you say all that?
Okay, so this is a dangerous dish because what has happened here is we're putting diners out of business. A lot of enjoyment that you get out of anything is when the expectations are not that high, and then all of a sudden you get kind of rocked. You get kind of shocked, as it were. I don't even know what else to say about this. The potatoes are perfect. The texture is perfect. I'm at a loss for words. I don't really know what to say. This is really good.
I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you get a chance to make this one, I'd love to see what you guys get up to. If you make changes to it, if you tweak it, you know, if you got people's reactions, eating any of the stuff we make on the show, it would just make my day and everyone's day at Capital. For leaving all the comments like you guys do and sharing the video and telling your friends about it and sending us pictures. Honestly, it makes our whole day. There's not too much else to say about this one, but thank you again. And I've been your host, Alexander. We'll see you next time.